I'm Laura Rogers, and this is SharePoint Power Hour, and here's Joelle Jobson, our little window here helping out. Our topic today is home sites and Viva Connections. We had some technical glitches. We started all over. So this is going to be our demo of how to set up a home site and how to put it into Microsoft Teams using this new concept of Viva Connections. So what we're going to do is I'll show you one that I've set up already, and then I'll do a demo of running it involves PowerShell of running some of these commands. So what it entails is creating a communication site in SharePoint, and we'll be setting it as the home site via PowerShell, and that will give us this new little left global navigation, this little gray box. Now you might already see this gray box, but creating an actual home site gives you the ability to have a place to set up your global navigation. So that's the difference between just seeing this new little gray bar that you might already see on the left side on all your SharePoint sites and being able to customize it. So we're going to go over those differences, and then we're going to push the whole thing to Teams using Viva Connections, and we will be doing some of this via PowerShell. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And okay, so first of all, I'll show you what an example looks like that I've already set up. So let me go. So I'll put these links to show you kind of how to do some of this stuff in the chat in Teams. And then here's what I want to show you. So I created, let me kind of minimize this a little bit so that you can see it without our faces being in the way. So I created a communication site, and I'm going to walk through these steps too, but I want to show you what the final product looks like. So I created a communication site in SharePoint Online, and then this little panel isn't something that's special to the site that I created. This little panel is just something that you're going to see on all of your sites. So again, the whole purpose of this communication site that I'm about to show you is to give me the ability to customize this. But you might already see this panel. So by default, if you haven't created a home site, haven't customized it, this little home button is going to take you to your default SharePoint home, which is the same thing as clicking this little SharePoint button up here. And then you have your My Sites, which is just the currently logged in user, frequent sites that they go to. It's just tailored to who that person is. And then My News is news recommended to whoever the currently logged in user is. And then My Files are just my files. You can see that I've got like a camping file in my own personal OneDrive, and I've got just these various files in various places, SharePoint sites, my OneDrive, just recent files I've been using. So the key to being able to customize this is to set a site, create a communication site, and deem it the home site via a PowerShell command that I'll show you. And then and this is the one that I did. Now this is not even my root site. So of course you could, and it would make total sense to deem your root site of your entire tenant, like mine would be wonderlaura.sharepoint.com, make that be your home site. But I wanted to show you that it's a different concept. It's not all the same thing. So that's why I created it as a completely different site to show you kind of where everything is and what's possible without that being confused by it also being the organization's default root site as well. And we had a whole other power hour about how to make a site the default root site. Okay, but this is not the same thing. Okay, so I'm on this home site, ran the PowerShell command. So then once you've made your site the home site, you can go to the settings, and now you have this new thing. Look at this. It's called global navigation. You're only going to see this on your home site. And then I can turn my global navigation on. I'll just turn it on and click save, and then I'll go back in and show you some of the settings. And I did put links to some of this information and settings and gotchas and things like that in the chat. Now, one thing that's important to do, once you have this set up, once you're ready to roll it out, you need to go ahead and make sure your home site is accessible by everyone. They all have access to it. So you can go to site permissions, and what I did is I just went to, I added everyone to site visitors. So I literally just typed share site, typed everyone, and then I just added everyone in the company to be able to have basically read access. So they need to be able to have read access to your home site so that they can see the navigation that you set up for the home site. Okay, so once I've turned on the global navigation and I just left the default settings, you can see that it has the ability for me to upload my custom logo. So before when I turned this on, before I turned it off and started the demo, I uploaded a little custom logo here. So as soon as you put your logo in here, so you can tell that I've turned this on because now you can see that little green logo over here on the left side. Okay, and then you give it a title, and I just called mine Wonder Laura. And then there are a couple of other settings that are kind of confusing that I wanted to talk about. So this site that I'm on, also another decision to make is whether that is going to be a hub site. So it's all these different concepts that you have the option of whether to tie them together or not. So you have the option of a site being the main root site for your whole company. You have the option of deciding if a site is going to be a hub site or not. And we've had other power hours about hub sites. And then you have the option to say whether you want a site to be the home site or not. So if your home site is also a hub site, so go to the SharePoint Admin Center, and I've got, I'll just say, let's see, this one is called Home Site. And let's see, what did I call it? Wonder Laura Home Site, that's what I named it. So let me go down here, Wonder Laura Home Site. Wonder Laura Home is the root. Wonder Laura Home Site is, so I also went ahead and made this a hub site. Because if you make it a hub site, then you'll be able to have hub navigation that is part of that little panel. Okay, so here's the difference. All right, if your site is a hub site, you've already got this concept of global navigation. So I've got this global navigation that I set up here when I made it a hub site. And the hub site navigation is the navigation that goes across to all the other sites that roll up to that hub site. So if your site, that is the home site, is also a hub site, and you choose this second option here, hub or global navigation, then your navigation is going to be of the hub site. So let me close this. So look at this, okay? So here's the difference. So this navigation now that is following it, it's gonna be on the left side on this gray panel on every single site in your whole organization. This is now this hub site's navigation. Okay, so this kind of gives you, think about it, this kind of gives us that two-tier concept, right, Joelle? That two-tier concept we've been talking about of having like a parent hub. This is a way to achieve it, right? It's not really called that, but you're setting up this navigation that is going to go across your whole organization, and then you've got each hub site can have its own navigation too. So let's go look at that other setting.
Which is something a lot of large organizations run into because they have multiple hubs and they can't like connect. They couldn't before connect them all up to one hub with navigation without any kind of like custom, stuff being done. So now they have the ability to do that.
Yeah. So this gray panel can become your global navigation that goes everywhere no matter what, the absolute top level global navigation. And then this navigation across the very top can become like that, like that's each hub's navigation. Okay, so when I'm going to change this to home site nav. Now, as soon as I switch these back and forth, this link actually changes. So to edit the navigation links themselves, the navigation and what's in the navigation, I have a few different options. I can click just directly in here. I can choose Edit Global Navigation, and that takes me to the navigation. So notice that I chose Home Site Navigation. So if you want to, I think this is a good way, like if you want to have navigation that you just set up on this site in this one place that you want to become the global navigation that is not hub navigation, then you can choose home site navigation and just see, this is just the nav like that was right here just for that one site. So if I switch this to home site navigation, then these are the options that I have. So then I'm editing it. So let me click cancel, and then if I just go ahead and save this, then another way that I can edit it is, well, of course you can edit your hub site navigation up here, but then editing your global navigation, you have to do it here. And you also can switch these and do it, and immediately as soon as you click the other one and you click edit global navigation, now it's different. So see, now since this is a hub, this hub navigation up here with hybrid work, IW Mentor, onboarding, all this is my global nav. So I can directly edit these here. So I can go edit these links. Now we're not going to deep dive into how to edit navigation, but this looks exactly like every other navigation that we edit in SharePoint. And we talked about audience targeting. I think it was in the last Power Hour, and you can do audience targeting in these. All right, so then again, so as you switch this back and forth, see, home site navigation is not going to be my hub. That's just the navigation that's just on this one site. And then when I toggle it back, then that's my hub or global. So this navigation, it says this navigation is hidden at the top of the page unless it's on a hub site where it displays as the hub navigation. That's not confusing, right? Okay, so it helps if you have a hub site. This is the option that you want to have. So then you've got the ability to push this to, let me go over to, got logged in as Billy Bob here. So this is my Billy Bob, and Billy Bob is using Teams. Now I didn't use the prettiest icon when I rolled this out. So now that hopefully I've hammered that home and you all understand what that home site thing is and the home site navigation and how it propagates. Now we can take that home site and look at this. We're in Teams and we're going directly to it. So of course it's hidden. So this is Teams. Now look, it looks exactly the same. So let me go back to my chat. So now I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm chatting in Teams, and look at this. I just want to go to SharePoint. Ta-da. There is my SharePoint home site. And it was there a second ago. I promise it works. There it is. So then I have this, see, and here's that hub navigation up here. All right. Were there any questions that you noticed, Joelle?
Not questions, just basically the same reaction I think we both had, which is like, now what do I do? Like that whole like home site, hub site, global navigation, hub navigation, like that kind of like whirlwind. So I just mentioned that I'm going to be working on probably some training content and some charts and stuff like that pretty soon to kind of help with, like a wizard of like choices.
Yeah. And
a choice matrix.
You need to see examples of what each one is going to look like when and why you'd want to do. Yeah. So we're definitely adding that to the training. And as I've said before, Power Hour is not training. Power Hour is just a demo of something new that we're figuring out. So we'll have some good pedagogy around that. Okay. Now, how do you make a site be a home site? So I'm going to go over into our tenant. This is our tenant where we do the Power Hour. This is the one that we're chatting in. So I don't think that that little gray panel is showing in here yet. I even connected. Maybe it would only show on a communication site. Let me see. Let me just test one of these. No, yeah. It hasn't even rolled out in this tenant, but I still want to show you the command, and I'm going to go in PowerShell and create a site and make it the home site, and go through all those steps. Since I already did the steps in my Wonderlaw tenant to show you the end result, I want to go through them from scratch. So step one is going to be to create a communication site. And I'll just say test home site. Okay, and then this one is going to be the one that I am going to make be the home site. Make be, make it become the home site. So then once that site exists,
Make it so.
do what?
I just said make it so. Sorry, I'm on a delay.
Yeah, so here it is. Okay, so it's there. So the way I get to PowerShell is you click the little start menu in Windows 10 and you type ISE. And then when you see Windows PowerShell ISE, which you can't see that because that's on my other screen, when you see that, you right click on it and you choose Run as Administrator. And then it is going to open up this PowerShell window here. All right, so then let me go ahead and open a new little tab here. So then I've already installed the SharePoint stuff that I need for PowerShell. That's a very technical term, isn't it? Microsoft Online SharePoint PowerShell. If you're not sure if you have this command that you need, you can type home. So I'm not using the PNP one, I'm using set SBO home site. So I'm just going to type it right here. And now the first time I type it, it's not going to work because it's going to need me to authenticate as an admin, but I'm taking you through all these steps. Oh, you can't see my screen, can you? You can't see the admin. The PowerShell, the PowerShell screen must not be showing because it's running as an administrator. Oh, now we found out what locks up my screen.
Is it PowerShell?
The running of the PowerShell as an administrator is what this software doesn't like.
Oh, did it just lock up your screen again?
That's what just locked up my screen again. So there's a command. Let me go ahead and just flip back over here. There's a command called set-sbo home site in PowerShell, and all it needs is the URL of the home site. Like, there are no other parameters. There's nothing else to it. You just say set SBO home site, and then you tell it which site, and then that site is now a home site. So that's all that it entails for making something become a home site. And then the next time you go to that site, that's when you'll be able to have that little special menu under the gear that gives you that global navigation. So that's how you turn on the ability to have the global navigation. Let me see if I can redo my screen share real quick. I'm not sure if PowerShell having to run as an administrator. I think my little vMix software here doesn't like it when I do that. Apparently, I don't usually do PowerShell in Power Hour because we're not usually that technical. But that's why we've never run into that. Let's see, display to. Oh wait, let me see. Oh, can we see? So I can show the PowerShell, but my voice was not on it, right?
Yeah, you couldn't see or hear.
Okay, all right, hold on real quick. Let's see if I can get my face and my voice to show on the PowerShell thing. Oh, there I am. Look at that. Right in front of it. Oh, and you can't see that. Thank goodness. Okay, hold on. Let me shrink that down. Oh my gosh. This is too funny. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was going to do that. Let's see, number 1. There we go. Okay, I'm almost there. Crop. Okay. Now, can you hear me still? No? Yeah? Oh, okay, good. Okay, PowerShell. So here's set SPO home site right here. So I'll do set SPO. Sorry for the little distraction there. Now, see, all it asks for is my home site URL. So then I need the URL to the site that I just created. So this is the one that I just created. That and you can't see it because I had to share my screen in 2 different places. So I'm just taking that URL and copying it and pasting it in here. And then now I'm getting this error on purpose, and I mentioned that a second ago because I want to kind of show you all the steps to go through and to understand if you try this command and get an error. So you got to do connect, and it tells you exactly what you need to connect. Connect SPO service. And then when I connect SPO service, it needs me to use the admin credentials. So that is right here. Well, you can't see it. It's the name of my tenant -admin.sharepoint.com. So that's the URL that I need to put in here. So see, it says, you can't really see it, but zoom in a little. See? The name of the tenant, -admin.sharepoint.com, and hit enter, and then it's going to want me to log in with my credentials. So that's also going to be, let's see. I wanted this to be as real as possible, so unfortunately I've got to sit here and type my password, but I wanted you to see all the steps and make it not seem so, make it a little more approachable since it is PowerShell and we're all not technical here. Okay. And you can't even see my login screen anyway, but my login screen popped up for me to put in my credentials. Okay, so then as soon as I put in my credentials, then it's like, okay, well, you're in now. So now I'm going to do set SPO home site, and then I need to go get the URL of that new site that I just created and put it in here. All right, look at that. The home site has been set to, and then it says it may take some time basically for it to go into effect. So you're not immediately going to see the global navigation and the little gray bar and all that stuff, but you have set the command. You might want to, come back in 15 minutes or an hour or whatever and just see if it's completed. So once it's a home site, that's what you need to do to set it as the home site. Now, so I showed you I already showed you how to go in, go to the home site, click the little gear, go to global navigation, and then set up the navigation, and just kind of that's all there is to it as far as settings once it becomes a home site. So then we have that other piece of Viva Connections, and Viva Connections is you're taking this whole thing and you're putting it into like a package and uploading it as an app into Teams. So on that link that I sent you in the chat, there is a, let's see, in the little resources link, Viva Connections. There is a video that explains how to do this. So all I did was I went through the video and watched, and it gave me a link to install, basically download this Viva Connections PowerShell script. So I downloaded this PowerShell script, and it's a zip file, and I extracted it, and then inside the zip file I have this viva-connections-desktop.ps1. So that is the file, that is the script that you need to run to be able to then take the site that you want, that you've created as your home site, that it's also a communication site that everyone also has access to, and make that be the site that you put into Teams. Y'all following me? So, and yeah, I'm just totally relying on you, Joelle, for any feedback or questions at this point, since I've got all this stuff going on and half of it's broken. Okay, so that's my script. So I'll go ahead, and when I first ran the script, it gave me an error. So I want to show you, and I put a link to Victor's blog in there as well, because he got the same error that I got, and he was basically blogging saying this command that the script is trying to run doesn't exist. So just go in and comment this part of the script out. So that's kind of technical. So let me see if I can go open that that file real quick and show you exactly what I commented out. Okay, so here's the file. And this was the command that did not exist, this get SBO is com site. That's the command that did not exist in my SharePoint PowerShell on my computer. But he said the only purpose for that command is just to double check that the URL that you give it is a communication site. So as long as you know that you're an admin and that site is a communication site, that's all that command is doing. It's checking. So what I did was this whole part that says validating site URL, I commented out this little try. Now the part that I left in is where it says it's connecting to SBO service, because we do need to connect to the service because we need to go ahead and authenticate as an administrator. So we still need this, but all this stuff where it's checking to see if it's a com site, and if it's not, it's doing this little catch and try and all this stuff. All the way down to right before search info is where I just commented, I put a little pound and I just commented all out. So this script is in that Viva site that I shared with you in the chat. It's just Microsoft's official documentation on Viva Connections. It has a video and it provides you the link to download the script. So that is what I had to change in this script. So now I'm going to go ahead and push play. Okay, it says, please be sure you have SharePoint admin privileges in your tenant before running this script. And then it's doing stuff, it's downloading stuff. And it says, what is it telling me now? All right, enter the link of the SharePoint portal that you want to pin in Teams. Now that's confusing that they're using the term portal, because we don't use the term portal anywhere else, do we, Joelle? Like, portal's like an old term, right? So I wouldn't worry about the fact that they use the word portal here. But this is just basically, it needs to be a modern communication site, and this is going to be, it says we recommend that you use a home site. Okay, so I'm going to take that home site I created and go grab that URL again and just put that in here. Okay, then it needs to you can't see it, but it popped up a box for me to authenticate again. So let me go do that. Because I opened this up in a separate PowerShell window, so it doesn't know that I already did this. Are y'all excited about having SharePoint in Teams and being able to quickly get to it straight from there? It's pretty neat, huh? Okay, enter the name of your app as you want it to appear in Teams. So this is going to be, so the name that we're typing right here is the name that it's going to show in, oh, you can't see my Teams when I share it. It's that left panel in Teams where it says chat and meetings and all that stuff. That is the name that you're deciding on right now. So what do you want it to say? So I'm going to call mine Power Hour. And then please enter a short description. So I've got a little description already. And don't put quotes around it. So the way that it looks in here makes it look like you're going to need quotes, but you don't. You can just put regular old, just paste some text in there. And so it's got a description, and then it's got a long description. So I just made up a long description. And then it says provide a privacy policy, and you can just hit enter to use the default one provided by Microsoft. And it's got some terms. If you have your own terms that you need to link to, you can use that, or you can just default to Microsoft's. And then it says provide your organization's name. I'm just going to say Power Hour. Provide your organization's public website link. iwmentor.com, just put that. Please upload. Okay, so here's what you need. You need an icon. This is going to be, going to represent your app. 192 by 192 pixels. So it is actually popped up a dialog box right now. This makes it nice and easy to be able to pick an icon that is 192 by 192. So that is something that it helps to prepare that ahead of time to have that ready. So I go ahead and it takes me straight to my Windows Explorer to go just click on a file. So I go click on my 192 by 192 icon. Then the second icon that it needs is 32 by 32, and this one needs to be monochrome. And that's a little weird. Why does it need to be monochrome? Those icons that display down the left side in Teams, all those little just pretty little like chat and meetings and those icons, those are all monochrome. You notice that? So your icon that it's going to be displayed over there also needs to be monochrome, so it will look, it'll make sense and it'll look nice, kind of lined up with all the other ones. So that's why it helps to go ahead and put together a black and white one that's 32 by 32. So that is what it's asking for now. And okay, so the last step, what it's done is it created a file name, Power Hour. So whatever I called my company, it created a file and put it on my desktop called powerhour.zip. So now I get to go to Teams. So this is the part where you actually have to install this in Teams in the Teams Admin Center, and to be able to deploy it to Teams so it'll be a link for everyone to click on. So, and we had a whole other Power Hour about Teams Admin, but now that I have this zip file on my desktop, I'm going to close. Let's see, I'm going to see if I can, and now I've got since my sharing software is all messed up, now I get to pick something else to share. Let's see. Source. Okay. Sorry, it doesn't usually completely mess up like this. I'll put it on that one for a second. So y'all chat, what do you think about this? Joelle, what's everybody saying so far? I can't hear you.
People are...
Oh, there you go.
I was just saying, I think people are excited.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay, let me add another. I'm going to have to... Yeah, I'm sorry my vMix software got all confused when I ran PowerShell, so...
Yeah, speaking of that, one thing I did see, which may have just been lost in translation through all that, is people were asking, like, when would they see that gray navigation bar on the left-hand side? Could you repeat that? I know you kind of talked about that a little bit. Could you bring that up again? Just
that's the one that's gradually rolling out.
Yeah, I know. I just was...
There's a setting. So let me go ahead and share this other desktop capture real quick. There's that organization setting in the Teams Admin Center. I mean, not Teams, in the main admin center where you can set like first release. It's that thing. So let me go ahead and add, hold on, I gotta add myself to this other one. Okay. Sorry. This thing is so painful to set up. Hold on. And almost done. Copy. Okay. Now, can you see me on my home site? Awesome. Can you hear me? Okay. Now that we did all that, now let's go ahead and go to the Teams Admin Center. So this is the thing I was talking about right here. It's in your org settings in your main Microsoft 365 Admin Center release preferences. So under release preferences, it's sort of a trick. It's sort of weird and misleading because it was set to targeted release for everyone, but I was still not getting that bar, that gray bar. So the trick to be able to force it to give it to you, to show you the whatever the new release is, the new feature that you want to see, is to go ahead and just say target release for select users and to put your name in there. And obviously if you're a big company, you can't just go into the admin center and start changing stuff like this, but this is what I did in my tenant to kind of force it to give me this new update. So that's the release preferences I was talking about. Okay, so let's go over to Teams. So in the Teams admin, I'm sorry, what? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you now. I'm sorry. God, this is so messed up. Okay, in the Teams Admin Center, Teams Apps, Manage Apps. So the first thing you have to do is upload your app. And they gave it to you as a zip file. That whole Viva Connections thing, that's what it did, is it just put the whole thing together right there on your desktop as a zip file. So I go to my desktop and look, I've got one called Power Hour, and that's the thing that it created for me. So then I upload it. And there, now Joelle, try talking.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, I fixed it. It's like my my computer's haunted today. Okay, so then once I upload it, you can go ahead and ask me what you're going to ask.
Oh, I was just thanking you because a few people had missed that thing about the targeted release, so I wanted to recap that. That's all. That's all I was saying.
And then here it is. I just uploaded it. But now, if you only upload it here and you don't do anything else, all your end users will be able to potentially install it in Teams, but it's not gonna force it to show in their little toolbar. So what you can do is go to Setup Policies and I'm going to Global or Org-wide Default just to push it out. Now you might have multiple setup policies in yours, but I'm going to go ahead and click Add Apps and do Power Hour and add that. Now, the problem that I had was in my other tenant, remember when I did a whole Power Hour about Teams Admin, I had created all these different permissions policies and setup policies, and I did all these different things. And so I had all these different policies defined for different groups of people. So I actually needed to go click into all the different ones, and I had to add my new app to them so that all the different people in all those different groups that I defined would all get that app that I was pushing out. So now I've put it in global org-wide default. So now let me see. I don't think it's just going to appear in Teams just right off the bat, but I think that if you close Teams and open it up, it'll appear. So let me see. Oh, I gave everyone, I didn't do the permissions part on this one. So site visitors, see, I didn't give everyone access. Remember, that's what I said you needed to do, is give everyone access to it. So I'll do everyone. It has everyone except external users read, but in here we have our Power Hour, like Power Hour members, and that's going to have all you external people too, that I can add you to have read access to. So now all of you should be able to get to this site that I'm using as my home site. And look, there's my gray bar. So that's how long it took. So at the beginning of Power Hour, I turned this on and put myself in the targeted release, and now I can see the gray bar. So, and now I didn't set up the actual global navigation that I was talking about that I showed you in the other tenant, but at least I have the gray bar now. So now let's go look at Teams. So you all might see it in Teams too, and you all will be able to get to that site. No, yeah, it's not there yet. I don't see it. So I think it does take a few minutes. When I was finagling with it earlier, I was just trying things a few times, just one after the other, and I think I was changing things too fast, kind of being impatient for it to show up over here. And it just took a little while. So then on my actual new test home site that you all have access to, I'll copy it and put it in the chat. Let's see. Okay, I put it in the chat and see if you all can get to it and see if you all can see. You might not see this bar because you're not in the targeted release. Maybe I'm the only one that sees it. So, all right, and then I will have that global navigation that I can turn on. And I can give it a logo. We'll do that. It needs to be square. And this is not a hub site, but because I just created it, I didn't make it a hub site yet. Let me hard refresh this. Yeah, it didn't put, oh wait, put it over here. It didn't put my little icon over there yet. So all of it just kind of takes a few minutes. All right, so let's go see, see if it's showing in here yet. Not sure how fast that's gonna be. No, I don't see it yet. So some of the things to double check if you don't see it yet are, like if I'm in this other group here, first line worker, they've got their own separate list of things that are going to show there. So if I'm in that group, I'm not going to see that app that I added, because when I added it to the other, the global org-wide default group. Oh, I could have sworn didn't I add it? Maybe I didn't add it. I clicked add apps. Let's see. That would explain why it's not in there if I didn't actually add it. Okay. Oh, so I added it. And let me go to pinned apps. Okay, so you go to pinned apps and add it. That's what puts it in the bar. Sorry about that. And then you just move it to the top. I was just adding it in the wrong little spot right here. Okay, so you move it to the top. You don't have to move it to the top, but if you want that to be front and center, if you want everybody to have that access to that, you know, directly to SharePoint right there in the most obvious place in Teams, then that's where you can put that that link. See, activity, chat, Teams, calendar, calling. Those are all those other little icons in Teams. Okay, let me try that again. Refresh. Oh wait, that's the other one. Sorry, now I've got like all these different tenants doing this. Does anybody in the chat see this in Teams or in SharePoint? I think it'll just take a few minutes. Let me see if it's in here. Oh, and also you might want to check your permission policies too. So I am allowing all apps, but look at this, custom apps. It says choose which custom apps can be installed by your users. I have that being blocked too. So I have it so users can't go in and just, upload apps and install them. Okay, so let's recap here. And let me go to my other tenant where the one that I actually had all this set up in the first place. Okay, so as a recap, you have the ability to create a communication site and any communication site and deem it the home site by running a PowerShell script. And once you've run the PowerShell script, then you'll be able to have on that site that you tell it is the home site, you'll have this new thing called global navigation. And then when you go to your global navigation settings and turn those on and you just click it to enabled, that will give you the ability to decide what shows in this top icon. You can give it your own your own icon, and you can give it basically the sites that you want it to show when people click on it. Now you're not customizing all these other ones, they're going to stay the same, but what you're customizing is this first one and what links pop out when people click on it. And then, and of course, like I mentioned, if this site is also a hub site, then you can use that hub navigation as that global navigation. And then separately, your home site can be created as Viva Connections and put as a link inside of Teams. I'll go ahead and go back to both of us. And once you have it in Teams, then you can add it, go over to the Teams Admin Center once you've run that PowerShell script and add that app that it provides you, and also allow the app and add it to the list of apps that are displayed down the left side in Teams. And then that's what will give you the ability to go straight to that home site when you are in Teams and navigate around in SharePoint from within Teams. Whew.
Yeah, I think they were saying on there that when you hit save that it may have failed.
Did I hit save where in the Teams Admin Center? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I didn't, but we got to go.
Yeah. I was just letting you know. That's what I think they noticed that.
Yeah, and that is why I set all this up ahead of time so that I could show you it all fully functional and not rely on the demo all being executed perfectly. And I'm sorry about the vMix software crashing and right when I thought everything was running smoothly. But hopefully we got the point across as to what home sites are and how simple it's pretty simple, right? It's just the home site part is pretty simple. Like making something a home site is pretty simple. The navigation is kind of confusing. But it's very flexible. You can kind of make it do, several different things and finagle it the way you want it. So that's good. It's not good for people that just want to be told exactly how to do it and exactly what settings to do. Because it gets kind of loosey-goosey. But I'll let you all go. And thanks so much for coming. And next week is our live online advanced Power Apps and Power Automate class. So we're not having Power Hour. But thanks, everybody, and we will see you next time we have Power Hour. Over and out.
Bye, everybody.